But he wanted me to go to Payne.
Okay.
And I wasn't particularly interested in Payne.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go to Savannah State, where it was called Georgia State at that time.
Okay.
Where I knew some people.
Mm-hmm.
So he gave in, and
Mm-hmm.
he let me go to
Okay.
Georgia State.
So it was called Georgia
Yeah,
State.
Georgia State then.
Okay.
But perhaps about a year, or maybe two after I was there, the name was changed to Savannah State.
Okay. So when you graduated, it was Savannah State.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
All right. What was that like for you? You know, to go off to college and what was it like? Can you describe your college years?
Yeah.
Tell us.
Well, it was frightening at first because I'd never been away from home.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was quite an adjustment that I had to make,
Mm-hmm.
being away from home. But being around some of the people that I knew, it made it better. You know, you could you could be adjusted quite easily. You know, with people around you that you knew.
Right.
So it was fine. I enjoyed my college years a whole lot, and but it meant that you had to buckle down a little bit more than you did when you were in high school in order to be successful with what you were doing. So that freshman year was pretty hard, you know, because I had to, I had a lot of learning to do.
Right. Okay.
And but the second year things were much better, and the second year I think I was crowned Miss Sophomore.
Okay,
that
Miss
year.
Sophomore. Okay.
Yeah, I was Miss Sophomore that second year, and then the third year everything was going very, very well, and in my fourth year I was Miss Savannah State's attendant.
Okay. Okay.
And but the college years were very, very nice, and I tell my children now that we weren't able to come home as much as they do
Right.
now. You know,
Right.
when we were there, you didn't get home until perhaps at the end of the quarter.
Mm-hmm.
You started in early September, and you didn't get home until December. Some were able to come home for Thanksgiving in November like that, but most of us were not.
Right.
So it was, you had to adjust to being away from home.
Okay. And you major in education.
Yes, I did.
Okay. How did you decide to major in education?
I early on in life, I wanted to be a teacher, and I think because of the kinds of teachers that we had at the East Athens Elementary School, I just loved the way they carried themselves and the way they treated the children. And from then on, I just wanted to be a teacher.
Okay. Okay. And you finished in what year?
I finished in 1954.
54. Okay.
Yes.
And you came back to this area to work?
Yes, I
Where
did.
was your first job?
My first job was substitute teaching, just at the old Timothy Road School.
Okay.
I substituted there.
Okay.
And then I substituted in Oglethorpe County
Okay.
for a couple of years. And Mr. Wood was the superintendent of school here.
Okay.
And I got a call from him one day, and he asked me if I wanted to work in the Athens area.
Okay.
And I told him I surely did.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, if you can, and I told him that I was working in Oglethorpe County. He said, well, if you can get released from Oglethorpe County, you have a job here in Clark County.
Okay.
And Miss her name now. But anyway, he asked me to go up and talk with her, and I did. And she called him,
And what school was that?
I got the job at West Broad.
West Broad. Okay.
It was my first job in Athens.
Was that West Broad?
West Broad.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And how many years did you stay at West Broad?
I stayed at West Broad for 5 years.
Okay. Okay. Tell me about West Broad.
Oh, West Broad was very, very nice school.
Mm-hmm.
Great community. Miss Mamie Freeman was the principal there
Okay.
when I went to West Broad,
Mm-hmm.
and there were such caring teachers
Okay.
dedicated to the work that they were doing.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell me anything about how the students were back then and parents' involvement? What was that like?
Well, the students, we had great students because we had good parents who were interested in the education of their children.
Mm-hmm.
So the parents were very, very cooperative, and anytime you needed things, the only thing you needed to do was just let them know. And we had a very strong PTA. And Miss
Strong
Rosa,
PTA. Okay.
Miss Rosa Rittenberry was the president of the PTA at West Broad, and those parents were really involved in the kinds of things that that it took to keep the school going.
Okay.
But it was a very good, very good school.
Okay. And you was there, you say, for 5 years?
5 years.
Okay.
I started there in 1961,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked there from 61 through 66.
Mm-hmm. And I know through the years they added on to that building. When you started, was the building pretty much the same as it is now because it's still standing, you know? Did they have that wing on the back?
That wing was on the back when
When you got there?
When I got there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I think maybe there were some second grade classes over there in that wing, in the lunchroom.
Okay.
Was in that wing, that's part of the building.
And so, what did you teach? Did you different subjects?
Well, I was 4th grade teacher.
Okay, 4th grade teacher.
So we taught all of the elementary
Okay.
subjects. It was great.
Okay. And you left there and went where?
In 1966, I was sent to East Athens School, East Athens, but not the East Athens school that was here on the field here.
Okay.
They had moved it over the other side on the
In McKinney area?
yeah, in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's where it was, and I was there for 3 years.
Okay.
And Miss Jessie McQuirter was the principal there.
Okay.
And then in 1969, the schools were being integrated.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 69. And I was sent to David C. Barra off of Pinecrest Drive.
Okay.
And there I started teaching 4th grade there. And I was there for 21 years.
21 years at
Yes,
Barra?
At Barra.
Okay.
And I retired from Barra in 1990.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Somehow I thought you taught for a while at Clark Miller, but no. But
No.
Barra. Okay.
Barra.
Tell me about Barra.
Oh, well, Barra was it was different.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had not been accustomed to different races of people.
Right, yeah. Talk about that a little bit for me, if you don't mind.
Previously, you just had in East Athens and West Broad, that were just all black children.
Right. Uh-huh.
And then when we went to Barra, the schools were, had been integrated, and so that was quite an adjustment that you had to make.
Okay.
But things went very, very smoothly
Okay.
there.
Okay. How many black teachers was there with you? Do you recall?
At first, there were only maybe 4 of us.
Okay.
I'm trying to think now. Miss Wilhelmina Hardeman, Miss Elaine Gear, I think was there,
Okay.
and Faye Jenkins, I believe.
Okay.
Those were the 4 of us who were there then.
Mm-hmm.
And
Who was the principal at that time, do you recall?
well, at that time, when I first went there, Mr. Bartley
Okay.
was the principal. but he was only there for 1 year.
Okay.
And then Mr. Benton, John Benton, became principal.
Okay.
And he was there maybe 5 or 6 years, or maybe longer than that. And then Mr. Milton Hill was principal for a few years. Can't remember how many.
Okay.
And then Miss Lola Finn was principal when I retired.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about the integration part. Can you talk a little bit more about how that? You said it went very well, but
Yes,
okay.
it went very well.
Okay.
And I think it
Have
might
any
have been
any
because
memories, anything you can tell us that stands out?
I can't think of anything
Okay.
right now that's standing out.
Okay.
But you know, I think because of the parents and the teachers, you know, work together along with the students, and you know, everything
Good.
was pretty good.
Okay. And let's talk about your family, your late husband and your children. So let's talk about them a little bit. So you got married. What year did you get married?
I married in 1952.
Okay. And you married. His name?
Willie L. Little.
Tell me a little bit about him.
Well, his family was from the Bishop, down in Bishop, Georgia.
Okay.
But they moved in the Athens area a few years after we had married.
Okay.
And his mother lived over on Athens, on Augusta Avenue.
Okay. In Newtown.
In Newtown. And he had one sister, and she also lived in that area. And he worked for the Georgia Motors company that was right on the corner of Lumpkin and Broad Street. There was a car dealership.
Okay.
So he worked there for several years, and later on in life he started working for Jackson Concrete Company.
Okay.
And he worked there until he became sick. He had a stroke and he was disabled after then. And he didn't live too many years after he had a stroke, maybe 4 or 5 years after he had a stroke.
Okay.
Yeah. And as I said, we had 6 children.
Okay. Tell me about them.
Alethea is my oldest,
Okay.
and Kenneth is the next one. Phyllis, Patricia, Wilhelmina, and Joyce.
Okay. Okay. And tell me what they do in life.
Okay. Well, Alethea works at Mentor. I can't tell you all about what it's all about,
Okay.
but
Okay.
they provide for disabled people. And Kenneth is truck driver for a concrete company.
Okay.
And Phyllis works the Clark County school system. She works at the H.T. Edwards building. And she works with, she's involved with the parents and the small children, and finding places, you know, for the children to early education, get them involved in the early education. And also parents who've not gone to school, they try to get them back into, you know, get into that GED and those kinds of things.
Okay.
And Pat works for the Barrow County Sheriff Department. Wilhelmina is a secretary at the law school at the University of Georgia. And Joyce is in broadcasting.
Okay.
She was at B103, but she's at B103 part-time now.
Okay.
And she also works at one of the radio stations in the Atlanta area.
Okay. Okay. And so, and you got grandchildren,
Plenty.
huh? Plenty.
Yeah, I think there are 23 grandchildren.
23?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
And there are 40-something great grandchildren.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so big family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And of course, I know most of your daughters very well,
Mhm.
and a lot of your grandkids.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, and been very impressed with the way they all carry themselves. Yeah.
And I
know
think
you
you
should be
had quite a
proud.
bit to do with that, because the program that you were in at one time, that really got them off to a good start.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Very good start.
Okay.
Because I remember that some of them were quite shy,
Mm-hmm.
and with the kinds of involvement that you all had them in, they just bloomed.
Okay.
They did, and
Okay.
it was very good.
Well, thank you
Yes.
so much
Mhm.
for that.
Mhm.
Let's talk a little bit about your hobbies and your clubs and things, other things that you've done.
Well, my hobby has always been sewing.
Okay.
I love to sew, and I did quite a bit of sewing when my children were small.
Mhm.